Hey guys, welcome back to DETALKS. I'm Levi Gates for the Rag Company, and with me, Mr. Jason Killmer of KXK Dynamics. How you doing, bud?
Thank you. Good.
I'm excited you finally got to come up here and spend some time with us. And we've got sanding blocks.
Blocks.
So we've got the rid sticks right here, the little guys, and then we've got the palm blocks.
Palm blocks.
And for those of you that maybe have always been scared of it, they've heard the term. I know as a detailer, I always had guys either say color sanding or wet sanding. My favorite was when a dealership salesman would come up and go, I need that color sanded. I'm like, what?
What do you mean?
The door, the whole car, what do you want done? They're like, you put color and then you sand it.
Yeah.
Like, that car has clear coat.
Yeah.
So for those that maybe don't know a lot or want to learn a lot, or learn more, we're gonna talk about the world of wet sanding and how and why.
That's my world.
Unfortunately, you're the Sandman.
I'm the Sandman. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
So let's just start it out. Tell us like the basic, reason why you do that, and maybe because there are a lot of guys that just don't know or are scared about it.
Scared, and they should be. I mean, it's. So let's go back. Color sanding was the term. Color sanding, wet sanding, the same thing. It was called color sanding because all of the there was no
single
clear
stage.
coat. Yeah, single stage. So you'd be sanding color.
Yeah.
Once clear coat came out in the 80s and 90s and prevalent to today, now it's called wet sanding. Same thing, you take water, you wrap sandpaper around this little nifty block, and you just sand.
And you've got varying degrees of sandpaper.
Yeah, from scary to super fine.
Yeah, like 80 grit.
80 grit, yeah, you can wet sand with 80 grit, yeah.
But most likely for automotive use, you're working with 1,000, 1,500, 2,500.
On the clear, yeah.
3,000 in clear.
It depends what type of sanding. What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to, my saying is sand to improve, not remove, just to scratch, so we can get rid of the white? Or are we doing full concourse, full show car wet sanding, which is
needs to be smooth.
Completely different animal.
Yeah,
we get rid of the orange peel, then we go for smoothness. So we start out, 600 grit and work our way up.
Yeah.
600, 800,000, 12, 15 to 25, 3, 5,000 if you want in the buff from there. So, multiple stage sanding and correction process. But it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different ball game
when you get into that. But most of detailers, typical customers' cars and dealership cars,
1,500 or 2,000.
Yeah.
I don't recommend going lower than 15 on OEM clear because you don't want to remove the UV protection in the clear.
Right.
And we're only talking 1 mil is only a sheet of notebook paper, so we don't have much there to sand.
Yeah, there's not a lot of material.
That's where it's sand to improve, not remove is the key.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of guys don't seem to understand, and especially your customers in general.
Yeah.
They're going to say, oh, you could wet sand that out. But what they don't understand is if you're using the proper tools and the proper methods, maybe you've got a thickness gauge just to give you an idea. Because they're not 100% accurate across the board.
They never
Every half inch is different. You'll get a different reading. The OEM manufacturers are using less and less clear.
By a lot.
Because they're just trying to save costs and time when they're building cars. There's not back in the days where you're like, oh, there's 4 or 5 coats clear on that from the factory. They don't do that anymore.
No.
You're lucky if you get 1 full coat.
One full coat. I mean, some of the manufacturers are even less than that.
Yeah.
Which
is scary.
It is scary. It's all over the map. So not only is wet sanding out of the question, yeah, probably. Is polishing out of the question? Yeah, that's marginal. I mean, it's getting that risky now to not even to sand, but just to polish. Like when we're talking polish, that's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
Compounding is you have to really know what you're doing, or at least be aware of it. Okay,
right.
What am I getting myself into? Are you willing to take the risk? Then by all means go for it. if there's a deep scratch and your customer's like, well, my next stop is a body shop.
Yeah.
I just stopped, see if we can get it out. Then try to go for it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I've always touted in this series is junkyard hoods.
Yeah.
Go to the junkyard, get one. There's 30, 40 bucks. Pick one up and just play with it.
See where your skill set is.
Yeah. Learn and test and try and see, you know, how many passes it takes to get through clear.
Yeah.
Same with polishing when you're trying out new products.
Yeah, the ultimate paint correction is sanding.
Yeah.
To get rid of the peel so you have more reflectivity, more reflection, and then polish it up.
Well, and I noticed there's a lot of guys that are home hobbyists that are talking using different types of pads, compounds, and they all want to get out the orange peel in their new car. But what they don't realize is that the manufacturers are putting that orange peel in.
Yeah, there's a reason
for that purpose.
Yeah, there's a couple different reasons, but we won't go into that now.
But it's what I'm trying to say is that there is that orange peel already in from the manufacturer.
Oh, there's a reason for it.
And if you're going to try and remove that, and you haven't done your homework, you can have an expensive mistake.
Yeah, yeah. And if not expensive right then, as in burning through, as the longevity greatly decreases. But, you know, I've wet sanded OEM cars where, you know, we haven't had that much of a problem, you know. Can you say there's an exact science to clear coat failure? No, I haven't talked to anybody. It's not something scientific where you can say, you know, detailing in general is not necessarily an A to B thing. It's many variables. Now you're taking sandpaper and a sanding block to it, and the variables go out the window. So you have to be cautious.
Well, and with those variables, you've kind of developed those into the sanding blocks too, in the sense that you've got the two different colors. You've got a harder foam and then a softer foam.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose between that? If you're sanding on a surface, is it a tactile sensation or is it amount of pressure? Or?
It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So, I mean, just generally explain it. I can go on for days on this. So, from the high-end cars I've done, we've always used acrylic, just acrylic, and then just a foam. Well, as time went on, I'm like, man, guys are really, you know, they want to get to where I'm at or try to do something like that, but we don't necessarily want to give them a hard surface because you can do a lot of damage. So how can we duplicate a very similar but safer method of doing it? Hence why we've done the foam and the acrylic combination.
Okay, so if those of you that can see, this is foam, this little white strip is acrylic, and then the rest of it's foam again. And the same with this, only it's in black.
It's in black, so you can decipher if it's a hard foam or soft foam.
Yeah, and this foam is a softer density than these, so hence the black acrylic. But that's more so that when you're putting on your pressure, you're not having to...
You're not getting dig marks or gouges or something like that.
Okay.
And there's a lot of feel because of the hard surface. Being in the middle, you can actually run over a flat, smooth surface and you can feel through your fingertips, you can feel all the voids.
Okay.
So that's really why it's designed with the hardcore, softer core. You'd be amazed if you close your eyes and you actually run over a surface, you can feel, like this table, you can feel the voids actually in the table.
Oh yeah, that is wild. Again, another reason to get a junkyard hood.
Yes.
So then you can do this, you can geek out in your garage on a junkyard hood and have some fun with it. But yeah, that's cool. And so you make, these are the rid sticks. So these are the smaller, kind of the beginner style, but the same thing, a hard, or a soft and a hard. And so you've got the varying thickness of the foam, and again, something small so you guys can practice with and not run into any big issues. But it's enough that you can practice some scratches.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's, the junkyard hood has cat paw scratches, or someone set up like a cardboard box across it and slid it, or Maybe the previous owner did a Dukes of Hazzard style slide across the hood, you know. I've been known to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Or tigers on your car and you
Or
scare
there's a
him,
tiger,
boom,
yeah.
and
I mean,
he just goes to town.
if you see in the, you know, the Gulf Coast countries, there literally are guys that
Yeah.
put tigers and cheetahs and stuff on their hoods of their Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's guys that have to wet sand those marks out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or they just buy new cars.
They probably just, they're just getting painted and have them redone. But then you guys make the palm blocks, the bigger
blocks.
set of blocks.
Yeah.
And so same kind of thing, same process.
Same principle. Same principle, just larger,
Covering more area.
smaller surfaces.
Yeah. So for someone who's wanting to start, what do you recommend they start out with?
Rid sticks.
Rid sticks.
Let's see where their skill set is.
3,000 grit.
Yeah, 3,000. Just to start, just to see where you're at, just to build up your confidence. And then venture, if that's something in your wheelhouse, you're like, man, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Or I could see myself making, you know, more money or offering different things to my customers, my customer base, different options. Then they can venture where their skill set is.
And what most people don't seem to realize is that when you wet sand a surface, you are doing the same thing in the sense as polishing, where the focus is to sharpen the clarity of the reflection back on you.
Yeah.
And when you are wet sanding, it's very scary for a lot of guys who've never done it because you are damaging this, you are changing the surface.
You're changing the structure of the surface, the surface tension.
And so you're creating a flatter, more
uniform finish.
Yeah. And then you polish on top of that, and that brings out that clarity. And if there's guys that have never wet sanded a whole car or a whole panel, if you just cut and polish and do all that, it's going to be shiny and glossy. It's going to look really good. You wet sand under that, and then do that same step up, it's even brighter.
By a lot.
Because of how sharp the image bouncing back on, or the light being absorbed, or the color, all that stuff. It's just it comes out that much clearer.
And the colors, you start sanding a lot of material off that's already, let's say, a custom car. You can have an OEM color and a custom
with a lot of layers
with the same color, and the color looks completely differently because of how the light bounces off the surface.
Through that clear, yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. I mean, I know I like playing with that, and we have some junkyard hoods surrounding us, and we have been amazed at some of the results you can get just by doing this and practicing and trying your hand at it. And really, the Rid sticks are the best starting point.
Yes.
Some high number sandpaper, 5,000, 3,000, maybe 2,500. Get yourself acquainted with it. For those of you that have already done that, and maybe you want to step into the next level, work your way down. That's when you've got different techniques and different styles of stuff.
And also, this sanding block's just not a sanding block. You can use it as a coating block. You can wrap a microfiber towel around it. You can clean your glass, wrap a microfiber towel around it. If you have a small scratch, say this or a Rid stick, and you don't have a polisher, wrap a piece of 3,000 around it, do it by hand, wrap a towel around it, around the Rid stick, compound, and hand rub it out. There's certain areas in show cars that we can't get a polisher into.
Yeah.
So
impossible.
That's a method that you can do. So there's a lot of different
versatility
in the blocks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Jason, thanks for coming, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. So you guys can pick up Rid sticks right here at the ragcompany.com. You can get all of the KXK Dynamics line by checking them out on Facebook, Instagram, and then you're going to have a website soon.
Yes.
So
very soon.
So check them out on Facebook and Instagram. That way you can keep up with them. Jason is on Facebook and Instagram at Jason Killmer.
Yep.
And as always, make sure you guys like, share, and comment below. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos right here on the Rag Company YouTube channel.